They say kids don't come with a manual, but what if principals had one up their sleeve? Welcome to Pedagogical Horizons, the podcast by Eduten India, where we reflect on education with simplicity, clarity, and just the right touch of heart. I'm your host, Geeta Gujral, and today's episode is one that parents and educators won't want to miss. We are diving into parenting tips straight from Principal's Playbook, practical, heartfelt insights that go beyond academics. Because let's face it, parenting today is more than homework and screen time limits. It's about raising confident, compassionate, and curious individuals. Today, we have the pleasure of welcoming Miss Arti Jha, an inspiring educator for over 3 decades of experience in teaching and school leadership. As the principal of Delhi Public School, Aligarh, Uttar Pradesh, she is known not just for academic excellence, but for creating a warm, inclusive school culture where every child feels supported and empowered. Beyond the classroom, she's also guiding voice for parents, offering practical, compassionate advice on parenting in today's fast changing world. She's been empowering teachers across India as a British Council master trainer and a CBSE competency based education mentor. Together, we'll explore how to build strong parent child bonds and how schools and families can work hand in hand to raise thoughtful, curious learners. So grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's explore the world of parenting from a principal's lens. Welcome, Miss Aarti. It's an honor to have you with us today.
And it's a mutual feeling. It is always good to have you as a person talking. So I'm sure we'll have a very meaningful dialogue here in this
Thank you
conversation.
so
So
much. Thank
thank
you
you
so much.
for having me.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll start by asking you, ma'am, what does effective parenting really look like today, especially in this fast-paced world?
Well, you know, effective parenting to me in this fast-paced world is being present here with your child emotionally more than physically, because even when we are together we are separated by the digital interference and all. So being there with your child emotionally is more important, helping them to understand what is going around, helping them to accept themselves, helping them to understand the empathy, helping them to know what they are, what are the values they should carry forward. So these are the things which we are practicing at home with our kids. That's the effective parenting for me in this, like challenging world today. Not
Right,
like
ma'am.
us.
Right, ma'am. And also, how do you feel that parenting has, the challenges have changed over a period of time? Like, if I say from early childhood to teenage years, the way we were doing parenting years back, is it different now?
Yeah, it was easy for us. Like when we were growing up, the parents' concern were safety and good education, right? Those were the
Right.
major concern. And but today it is like overloaded with the parents. Pity on them because they have to fight against the needs and requirements which are more
Hmm.
materialistic these days. Then
Hmm.
social media pressure, online pressure, offline pressure of comparison,
Right.
then lot of choices around and do not know what to do with those choices, and most of the
Hmm.
choices because of the peer pressure,
Yes.
lot of so social pressure, expectations. So I think parenting is a tougher job than
Yes.
our right.
Right.
So they have to find out the balance between what they are
Hmm.
doing, like how much career is important, how much social
Hmm.
connectivity is important, how good home is important in your life.
Yeah.
So the difficulty between the choices, choosing the right thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's like very difficult for today's parents.
Yes.
And
Yes.
since most of them you will find they're career oriented. So how much
Hmm.
they should sacrifice for home,
Yes.
how much they should take their career serious.
Hmm.
Then gender, in that also choice, like who should sacrifice more, who should not.
Very
So it's
well
very
said.
confusing for them. And
Yeah.
if they're able to balance it, bring values to the
Hmm.
upbringing process of their kids,
Yeah. So actually,
it's a like
it's the whole child development that we are looking at, in a very, very balanced way. Right. So,
different.
yeah. So, ma'am, do you believe that school home partnership matters in a child's growth journey? I mean, you, the teachers, and the parents. So, how do you see this scenario? I mean, when it comes to a child's growth.
That's one thing, very important, because if you connect your first question, that how parents are like effective parenting is required and how difficult the parenting is. So
Yes.
now, if we combine these two stakeholders, the school and parents
Hmm.
together,
Hmm.
then it becomes a little, like easier navigation through the growth of a
Yes.
child,
They connect.
right?
They connect.
Correct. So because
Yes.
when you connect together, the parent
Yes.
is connected with the school, and when we have a
Yes.
communication on regular basis,
Hmm.
what we are doing at school is also being little, reinforced at home, and what they
Yes.
are going through at home is understood by the school. The
Yes.
process of the child's growth becomes little easier. I won't say
Ye-
that foolproof and perfect,
yes. Yes.
so there's no parenthood course available in our society, right?
Hmm.
But if together we do, child feels supported,
Yes.
accepted,
Yes.
and stronger, and above all, it
Comfortable.
is safe, comfortable.
Comfortable also
Yeah.
for the child, right?
Yes.
So actually, ma'am,
And
I would, yes, so I mean, I would feel that if it's very important on a lot of onus lies on school also now, because parents are working, and even if they're not working, whatever happens in the school, sometimes you have different personalities that you see what happens in school to a child, how a child is behaving, and how the child behaves at home. So if that connection is there and the trust is there between the stakeholders, it becomes easier to bring up the child, whatever age the child may be, a preschooler or a teenager. So I think that connect and trust between the stakeholders is very, very important. And whatever is communicated by the parent or by the teacher in a particular way, I wouldn't say it should not be taken as a complaint. It should be taken up as a, a, a guidance for a child's growth. So that's what I feel. The
yeah,
connection has to be there.
connection has to be done, because the moment child finds a gap between the
Mm.
two different, I would say, parents. We are also parents in school and the
Yes,
parents at home.
yes,
So when they find, even it happens at home, if there is a difference of communication between mother and father, child takes advantage of that.
yes,
Because they are
yes.
also, like they grow with this manipulation. It's a natural thing. We want to
Yeah.
get our work done. So many a times happen that a child is asked for something, the child knows he's or she is at mistake, at fault, but
Yeah.
before school goes to the parents, they go with their own story. And if you are on a regular communication,
Hmm.
then they do not have, and together we try to get the solution for their good,
That's
not
very
for their
important word that you've said. Solution. We need solutions. We have
right.
problems. We are looking at solutions right now. Very
So
rightly
if
said.
we are on the same page, I have seen a lot of experience. When mobile is not allowed in the school, we
Hmm.
confiscate that. The
Yeah.
first reaction is like, "Oh, why have you taken it? Was by by mistake, or what happened at the time?" So at times, parents also say, "Kya ho gaya? Kuch kiya to nahi." And then when we explain it to me, it's not about
Yeah.
kuch kiya. How that can be exploited against her. I'm more
Yes.
concerned about your child's
Yes.
safety. You do
Yes.
not know. One day you
Hmm.
might see the more photo of your child in very discomforting situation.
Yeah.
So how bad it would be for your child and for you. So when you talk, it says that okay, both of us are working in the same direction. Then why don't we
Right,
trust each
right,
other?
right. So the speed becomes faster and the direction is all aligned. Everybody's aligned to the
Yes.
same goal. So I think that's very important because child is, you know, child can be manipulated by many factors. So I think the adults have a greater role now in this digitalized world. You know, a
Digitalization.
lot of
Exactly.
onus lies on school
Right.
and parents. Even if the parents are working, whatever quality time they may spend with the child also has to be, done in a very good way, I would say, so that the best can be given. Because
Very true.
parents are working, you can't say don't work, and the ones who are sitting at home does not mean that they're not doing any other work. They also have a lot of work at home. So it's like work is always there, but child is the top priority. Child is the
You
top
cannot,
priority.
become a helicopter parent all the
Yes.
time, hovering over them. Then also they feel always interfere and, you know,
Yes.
mm,
They need
and they do not
space.
like to share things with
Yeah.
you. Yeah, they need space.
Yes. They need space.
Respecting their space, emotion, everything. But the
Yes.
ultimate goal of the school and parents both are to give a safe and secure life to the child with self acceptance in
Hmm.
the right direction.
Right.
Like you cannot be everything. So be good at
Yes.
what you are. So
Yes.
that's very
and
important.
also and also Aarti ma'am, I've seen sometimes children come and confide so many things with the teacher,
Yes.
and there are sometimes, the children confide so many things with the parent and they don't want to tell the teacher. So we all have to just come together in alignment for the betterment and the holistic development of the child, the best way possible, the best way possible. So,
Right.
coming to my next question, ma'am, how can parents encourage academic progress without adding stress or pressure? I know this is a tricky question because there's so much stress for academics. So how can we do that? Whether, we can, what do you advise the parents? How can they encourage academic progress without adding stress to the child? Because
I
stress
think,
is not good.
no, stress is not good and it is not going to help. Right.
Hmm.
So what we were talking in our previous question was acceptance. So
Yes.
shift your focus from the result to the growth. What
Well said.
growth as a child is exhibiting when
Hmm.
the child is engaged in learning. At
Right.
least like this generation parents should
Hmm.
focus on growth.
Hmm.
Directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, parents put the pressure on the kids. Oh, no, no, I'm not expecting you to do much. Or, like you're doing fine. Don't protect them, support them. And
Yes.
put focus on the process of learning, you
Very
know.
well said, Aarti ma'am. Very well said. The
So, because
process
if
is
you
very important.
process is going to help you in life, not
Yes.
the results.
Yes.
Right? So if you have
Yes.
understood the process of making a
Hmm.
sabji, you can do a lot of experiment with the ingredients and the, like mixing of vegetables and things. But if you
Yes.
only know to, okay, this is the paneer butter masala I have, and if you do not know the process, you will never be able to cook under pressure, no?
Yes.
So what is learning? Learning is about,
Skill
picking up
development.
the skills.
Skill
Yeah,
development. Yes.
picking the
That's
skills.
right.
So if we focus on learning, I know being women naturally, nature has gifted me with certain qualities which are very helpful at domestic management. So I always say that we are blessed. It is not about being any feminism and things like that. I said
Yeah.
nature has gifted me with these qualities, and nature has gifted the other gender with different
Yes.
qualities.
No
Accept
gender
each other.
bias. No gender
No,
bias.
so that's why I keep giving, like example from my kitchen, from my house, and things. Uh,
Yes.
if we focus on the learning, on the growth of the child's understanding about skills, mathematical
Hmm.
skill, scientific skill, this will help them. You have to support the child and like motivate them to learn more, auto
Motivation to
learning,
learn. Yes.
motivation to
Autonomy.
learn.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
auto learning, so that if they see that how learning makes them intellectual, how learning makes them accommodate different kind of opinion, if learning
Hmm.
helps them to understand and
Hmm.
make them a big, global citizen.
I love
This is
that term, global
exactly,
citizen. One drop here can create ripples somewhere else. So
ripple
global
effect
citizenship
somewhere
is
else.
very, 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 very important. Very, very
Very
important.
important.
Yes.
Problem solvers are those who have the different kind of, information, all sort of information about certain
Yeah.
things. So if
Right.
you know the technicalities of holding the podcast, you immediately could see that there would be some problems. Okay, I'm logging in again. Instead of getting nervous, immediately took a
Yeah.
decision because you know
Yeah.
the in and out of this whole system.
Yeah.
So
Right.
why have you
Building
panic?
confidence. Building confidence. Building confidence is very, very important.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you have learned the process, and that's why you're here. So if we shift the focus from the result to the growth of self-learning graph,
Mm.
this will help parents, and it is
Yes.
requires a lot of patience and self-control as a parent.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
ओ आपको ये आता है आपने क्यों नहीं किया उस टाइम याद नहीं आया that's fine
That's
but he
fine.
knows probably
Yes.
that person is going to utilize that information
Yes.
when he really I always give example of Karna losing or forgetting all his learning when he needed it because it was a curse.
Mm.
So it
Yeah.
can happen to everyone. That
Yes.
also.
Yes. Yes.
So yes,
Yeah.
should
Agreed.
not pay focus
Agreed.
on result, process of
Process.
learning, make them problem solver,
Mm.
critical thinker.
Think
So these are the things. If you make them, you are giving them a very safe and secure and confident
environment.
life.
Environment,
Confident life.
an environment where they're not scared that okay, if something goes
Yes.
wrong, if I forget, they're not constantly under pressure. So I think
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you've yeah so I think what you've said is that we are in the process of making parents also rethink about discipline, right? So coming to screens, smartphones, social media, you just talked about it earlier. So how can parents, schools are doing, no doubt, but parents are also doing, but any advice for them how they can set boundaries without constant conflict with the child? Children of all ages are savvy, you know.
See, this is the everyday. I'm as a principal. Every day we now start facing these questions from the parents to the school. How will you help us? And even for the orientation, the new parents.
Yes,
Whenever I talk to them, I always tell
yes.
them only one thing. You have to be the same person today which you want your child to be after 20 years.
Well
So if
said.
you are a disciplined person today, your child will be disciplined. If you
Hmm.
are a reader today, your child will be a reader today. So you
Yes,
the role model for your children.
very
Nobody
well
else
said.
can.
Because
Nobody else.
what they see they will imbibe. What they see they
So
will
it's a
imbibe. You
simple
can keep saying
example.
whatever you want to say, but they're seeing something else. So what you're a role model, what you're displaying is being
Yeah.
captured
If
like a
you're keeping
camera.
secret, if you have the habit of keeping secret, your child will learn that. So you have to present yourself as a case study to your children. Restrict yourself from using mobile at certain hours. No, we are not doing. And why are we not doing is very important. Why are
Hmm.
we not doing is very important. If you
Hmm.
if you explain the children why, they
Hmm.
accept your logic. If you just
Yes.
tell them no, you're not doing this, they will never
Hmm.
accept it. Because by
Hmm.
nature we are all rebel. Why are
Yes.
you not doing this? Why can't I go there? Why can't I stay up late? Why can't I? And if you give them the reason why
Reason.
it is not in your good, they will accept. So
Yes.
just you also start showing that respect of those ground rules which you have made. If there is
Yes.
no time for mobile at the dining table, don't use it.
Either.
Don't use
Yes.
it. If there is a
Yes.
corner, yeah, if there is a corner inside your house where no one is supposed to take mobile, you start doing this.
Yeah.
So if they see you practicing, they will also. As a parent, we take advantage of our being,
but
adult.
but parents are being washed by the children, that they don't realize.
Role models are parents. Same is the case of school. We also,
Yes.
as a
Yes.
teacher, we also get tempted. क्या होता है? कि बहुत important message होगा देख लेता हूँ. नहीं देखो कुछ नहीं होता, right? So if there
Uh,
is an emergency, we'll have still we have some
yes. Yes.
common call center at school reception. We'll get
Yes.
the message,
I know. I
right?
know. We all schools have that. See, it's like giving liberty and yes, yet setting the ground rules and being a role model. So that's how I can
Being-
just sum it up. And also, ma'am, I want to ask, in a world full of comparison, competition, how can parents nurture self confidence in the children? Though you talked about it earlier, but I just want to have, I mean, one liner from you to say that what should parents do to nurture self confidence? In schools, how comparisons happen. In society, you talked about peer pressure. I mean, competition in terms of academics, competition in so many other fields. So, how does the parent balance that out, and how does the parent inculcate self confidence in the children? Because that's very important, and that's what counts.
I think like if you ask for a one-liner, I always believe in that because being other than being a teacher or into education, we are all mother also. So
Yes.
this one-liner is have start practicing of self-acceptance.
Mm,
Everyone has a limit, you know, and we all have one child or two children at the most, or maybe in some cases three children, right? Accept your limitations, your strength, and you
yes.
cannot be everything.
Yes.
Like supporting means we also see no, 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 you are doing great, you are doing great, you are doing great with against your own limits, you are doing
Mm,
great against your own strength, you are doing great against your own weaknesses.
yes. Yes.
So self
Yes.
acceptance is missing. We are
Yeah.
not happy with what we are doing. बेटा मैं तो बस टीचर बन गई, तुमको चाहती हूँ सब कुछ कि तुम ये बनो. हो सकता है nature has gifted your child also as an excellent teacher. There's nothing
Yes.
wrong with
There's
that.
not. You should allow the child to grow and blossom the way nature
The
has,
way they are.
yeah. So, I
And
mean,
make them feel confident. Everybody is an integral part of this universe.
yes.
Everyone is brought on this universe with certain tasks to perform. So do
Yes.
and respect whatever you do.
Yes.
I do not advocate this policy of rewarding everyone. Learn to fight against the odd. You lose every day hundreds of fight and war against your one big win. So learn to accept the failure. That will help the child to grow
Yes.
confidently.
Yes.
Like if
Because
we miss one goal in the game of football, we don't stop game. We finish the game.
we
You
finished the
finish your
game,
task.
right? And
Yeah.
failure is also a step forward. Like in Finland, we say, they celebrate failure day. So failure is a step forward to success. Everybody cannot know everything. You have to keep trying and keep moving on. That's the motivation that we need to instill into the children. So coming to
Yeah,
the last, yeah. No, please go ahead.
I
Please go.
think accepting the failure, reflecting
Yes.
on that, and redesigning your approach
Yes.
brings like clarity in your thinking process,
Mm.
and only a confident person can think on this line. So make your
Critical
child,
thinker. Critical
yeah,
thinker.
make your child,
Problem
and I think
solver.
that's so that brings confidence, and
Yes.
parents and also school
Yes.
to an extent play a very important role to
Vital
bring
role.
those qualities.
Yes.
Yeah, very
Yes.
important.
Yes. So, just the last question to you. Now, I've taken enough time from your
That's okay. It was a
yeah,
good.
busy day. So, if to sum it up, I would want to ask you, what do you have to say to those parents who often feel guilty about not doing enough for their children? And what would be your motivational message to every parent doing their best? So, that's on
I'm
you
the
now.
best example. I'm the best example. If anyone should be guilty, I'm the one who was traveling outside for months, even during my daughter's board examination.
Oh,
So don't feel guilty. Enough is very subjective.
right,
It's very
right.
subjective. What is enough for one parent? Because, but my daughter, even today, respect me for what I am doing.
Yeah.
She has she has picked up out of every other things, but she has picked up one thing from her parents, both the parents, that work is very important.
Yes.
Your professional
Everything has,
is very
yes.
important.
Personal,
So,
there has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. I think rightly said. Rightly said. There has to be a
so
balance.
right. So I always felt, because I also used to hear a lot of things from colleague, yeah, you are being too much. You need to spend time. And I always would feel at some point that maybe, like, okay, she is not looked after well. At times I tell her that I know I have not done enough, and she said, no, this is what I wanted to see my mother like. And I'm
Look at
okay with
that.
that.
Look at
my
that.
my father like. So she, like, enough. We think when we compare again the growth of
Ah,
two children,
yes. Comparison and
be
competition should not be there anywhere between the
be
children
truthful
or
to
parents.
yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
parents should be truthful to themselves that
Yes.
whatever was possible I have done,
Yes.
and children pick up values from those truthful effort of the parent. This is my
Very.
very personal experience.
I think I endorse this. You have to be honest to yourself and honest to uh to the children also. There's nothing, like you said, there are no secrets from the children in the house. You need to be very open in discussion. Okay, this is my job, that's how I'm stuck, and that's what I'm doing. And be honest to yourself, and no competition, no comparison to anyone, not amongst the children, not amongst the parents. So I think
No,
I
guilt
take that.
shouldn't be there. Yeah.
Guilt should not be
Because
there.
whatever decision you have taken
Yes.
during those parenthood was a situation, and you have taken
Mm.
the best possible thing. You have
Yes.
chosen one of the choices, which was the only choices left for you. And
Yes.
no choice is a wrong choice. It is always
Yes.
situation. Now you
Yes.
have to, even if appears to be little selfish, wrong in the eyes of some people, you need to explain it to your kids. Why have I taken?
Yes.
That's it.
Heart to
And I
heart talk.
heart
Heart to
to
heart
heart.
talk. Heart to heart
If they
talk.
know, yeah. If I was out, why was I out? Because it was part of my job obligation to do that, and which was very important at that time for me. And I don't believe that if you give a glass of milk every night to your child, and you are not connected heart to heart, will help the child to have the respect for you. No, they
It's the
they
connection. It's the
very
connection.
easily, because umbilical cord is between you and your child, and even
Yes.
paternity, father
Yes.
also.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
all know what we are similarly.
Relationships matter. Relationships matter. That's more important. Honest, open conversation, support from all stakeholders. I think that'll go a long way in parenting a child, because teacher is also a parent to the child in school, like you said.
And children will still make mistakes.
That's fine.
They will
Adults do.
always.
Adults also do. They
Yes.
don't tell. They don't tell.
If
They
you
just
look at
hide it.
if you look at the process of adulthood, you
Yes.
repeat, you also make mistakes. If you look at the chart of the children growth, almost everyone makes the same mistake. Have to accept that children
Yes.
also grow out of their, if you have a trust, you talk about those
Hmm.
mistakes. Like,
Yes.
when do they need us? They do not need us more when they're very smoothly swimming through the life.
Yes.
They need
Yes.
us when they are losing the
Hiccups.
game.
Yes. When there are hiccups, they need you. They
And
need that support,
then,
and that should be
then they need
provided.
it.
Yes. That
Yes.
support should be
So
provided.
I don't think there's any place for guilty in my life for parenting
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
Has to
Yes.
be truthfully done, honestly
Right.
done.
So, and that brings us to the end of today's episode. A heartfelt thanks to you, Miss Arti, for sharing your wisdom with us. And I'm sure the viewers will carry it forward wherever they need to pick and choose, and wherever it applies in their scenario, they will take these tips forward. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Oh, it was pleasure talking, and it is always a very emotional topics for as teachers as well as parents. This is always a beautiful conversation where we talk
Yes,
about kids,
yes,
where we talk
yes,
about parenting that these
yes.
days. So I'm sure I
Thank you
have
so
enjoyed
much.
this conversation.
I have enjoyed it too,
Thank you
and you
for
can see
having me.
that. I've enjoyed it
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks. Parenting is all about presence, patience, and partnership. And when homes and schools come together with empathy and intention, we open powerful pathways for every child's growth. To all the parents, caregivers, and educators tuning in, thank you for showing up, for doing your best, and for being part of a community that puts children's growth at the heart of everything. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep these meaningful conversations going and growing. Until next time, take care and keep nurturing those young minds with love, patience, and purpose.